we all became physicians because we want to take care of people. And so to think about this advocacy or donating money in this way is not a part of our training always.
Welcome to the Built on Results podcast, a series of conversations about the issues, the advocacy, and the wins on behalf of emergency physicians. Dr. Rebecca Parker is chair of the National Emergency Medicine Political Action Committee, or NEMPAC. She's an emergency physician in Tucson, Arizona, and past president of the American College of Emergency Physicians. Her goal? Get more ACEP members involved in shaping policy. This is episode 19, How to Build Relationships.
I think we need to get more physicians to know about it. As a profession, physicians don't always get engaged with their PACs or know their PACs as well as other professions. Our colleagues that are attorneys understand PACs really well. Our nursing colleagues understand PACs better than we do. And so it's a common thread that our physicians don't understand or know about their PACs. I will say that we are the fourth or fifth largest PAC usually for every fundraising cycle. So we do better than many, but there's always room to help physicians understand the value of the PAC and then get to know their own PAC within their specialty society.
Is that just because they're busy, or are there other obstacles?
I think people are busy and trying to deliver care. We all became physicians because we want to take care of people. And so to think about this advocacy or donating money in this way is not a part of our training always. And it should be. But I think the other thing that physicians deal with is that they think that it's not a part of what we need to do as professionals. We sort of often as physicians think that doesn't seem like the right way to do advocacy, but I'm here to say to my colleagues, this is the way that we can get our advocacy done in the manner we want to do it. I'm a past ACEP president. I can point to numerous examples where the PAC have built bridges so that when I needed to go and talk to a member of Congress and their staff about an issue, the PAC made that possible because of those relationships we had built and because of those doors that it opened.
I did want to ask you about that. Is there an example of all of this that you could share with us now?
When I was ACEP president, one of the big legislative issues was about repealing, replacing, repairing the Affordable Care Act. It was a huge issue in the spring of my term. And there came down to a vote in that spring that was going to potentially reverse some of the Medicaid dollars that had been assigned. And so I needed to meet with a handful of senators that were in on the swing vote of that vote that were in certain states. And I was able to fly out to DC and meet with those three senators in particular that had a vote that would have an effect on whether or not we would retain that Medicaid funding. And we did retain that Medicaid funding. I like to think, our voice had something to do with that, because when I go to Capitol Hill, I talk about my patients and I talk about how they would be affected by those cuts in that funding. And because we come as physicians and because we come with the real stories on the bedside, that really makes a huge impact when we're talking to legislators. NEMPAC opens the door for me to have that conversation.
Tell everyone how the PAC works.
So NEMPAC has a board of trustees. It's made up of emergency physicians that are ACEP members from a variety of backgrounds and based on state, based on potentially party affiliation. And that PAC discusses candidates and potential candidates in terms of contributions. We also have a set of guidelines that we've developed and a questionnaire that we ask the candidates so that we can ask them if they are aligned with emergency medicine goals and key values. And those are based on items that the board has passed in terms of policies or that the council has agreed to. So they're all based on ACEP's values. Then based on that questionnaire answer, based on also feedback from the state chapters, that board of trustees will make a decision on whether or not to contribute dollars to that candidate. We don't have unlimited funds, so we're very careful to be sure that we're donating to candidates that align with our values, that also have an interest in healthcare and potentially an understanding in healthcare, or somebody willing to learn, because we know we often have to provide information to congressional members or their staffs to educate them on medicine and also on emergency medicine. So we are cautious to take a look at, the best candidates. We are also bipartisan, so we work with both sides of the aisle and find that's really important in order to pass legislation and also to be able to build relationships that are effective.
Very soon, many members will be coming to Washington, D.C. to take part in our annual Legislative and Advocacy Conference. What about the PAC should they expect to hear when they get to the meeting?
So during the conference, the PAC will be active. We will meet as a board of trustees, which is a meeting that's open to any members if they want to come and check that out. We'll be talking about candidates. The PAC will also host a reception for its VIP members. It will also host some various dine-arounds for members of Congress that we have relationships with. Again, building those relationships, opening doors, getting to know each other, and for them to have a chance to get to know us as well. And we will also have some different fundraising events as well. So from the PAC, you'll see, our presence. You will also see our interaction with the candidates and a chance to interact with them as well.
Why do you think everyone should plan to attend?
Well, NEMPAC is the voice of emergency physicians. We are the emergency physician PAC. So we're the entity for ACEP that does this work. So it's important that, one, that they donate, and they donate whatever they feel comfortable with. We talk about giving a shift. That's our little campaign. So, and by the way, the residents have a lower amount to make that give a shift level of donation because they earn less in their shift. We understand that. So, giving that $100 a month essentially to the PAC makes a huge impact for us to have those coffers to build those relationships, and makes a big difference for the ACEP leadership. And then while you're there, you can ask questions to the PAC staff. I will be there. The PAC Board of Trustees will be there about our questionnaire. How do we interact with candidates? What are our goals going forward? How does the system work, et cetera? We're there to definitely be a source of education and information as well.
And just to be clear, only ACEP members can donate to the PAC.
Correct. We are an association PAC. We're a specialty PAC, so only individual physicians that are ACEP members may donate to the PAC for our hard dollar money, is what it's called. Again, transparent and very regulated by the government.
Right. That's all covered in federal law, not something we decided. You are obviously a big fan of this process. You've been around it for a long time. What's your best pitch for getting involved, for taking an interest in the impact that the PAC can make on the future of emergency medicine?
Our leaders need these relationships in order to do the advocacy work that we need and that our patients need. We also are really focused as a PAC not only on educating candidates through our process about emergency medicine, but also we look to develop physicians that are interested in running for office. So we will purposely look for those candidates to see if we can help develop them. We'll even donate to those type of candidates where we know they may not win their primaries, but we want them to continue running for office. And so a part of this is also building that bench of physicians that are running for office, and we feel very dedicated to that process as well. So those dollars that you give to NEMPAC make a huge difference and are important for our patients for the future. And the other thing that I often say to physicians is that this is our voice for our patients, and our patients don't always have this voice. So if we're not there telling these congressional members their stories, who will tell those stories? And who better to tell those stories than emergency physicians?
You can listen to other conversations like this one and read more about NEMPAC and ACEP's work on the issues important to emergency physicians by clicking the links in the show notes of each episode on this platform. There's also a website, acep.org/results. You can listen and find this information there as well. Going forward, this is the place to hear the latest about ACEP's advocacy work. Anytime there's a development or a win to share, you'll find it here. The best way to stay up to date is to follow the Built on Results podcast on your favorite podcast player. Apple, Spotify, and Amazon are the top channels, but there are more than 150, so you can take your pick because we're on every one of them. Thanks for listening to the Built on Results podcast, a production of the American College of Emergency Physicians. We're back every time there's news to share. Until then, have a great day.